Hi, Erik Linask here in the TMC newsroom, coming to you from San Jose, California this week, talking with Mellanox Technologies' John Monson. John, thanks for joining me. Great
Thanks.
To see you again.
Good to see you too.
So, we've talked a few times in the past. I know you guys had made an announcement 2-3 weeks ago. Why don't we start with that? Talk to me about that announcement.
Okay. So, well, at Interop we announced 40 gigabit per second end-to-end. We just announced in the last few weeks what we call FDR technology, which is InfiniBand at 56 gigabits per second. And we deliver that from end to end. So it includes a switch, it includes cables, and it also includes what we just announced was Connect X3, which is our latest adapter.
Now, what's unique about the adapter?
So the biggest thing that's unique is it's what we call VPI, or Virtual Protocol Interconnect, which means it can run 10 gigabit Ethernet, it can run 40 gigabit Ethernet, or it can run InfiniBand up to 56 gigabits per second, all in the same card off of the same IC that we developed. And so you can plug in whatever protocol you are looking for on the outside, and it'll auto-negotiate to whatever protocol that you're running.
What's the adoption like on 40 gigabit Ethernet or on the InfiniBand?
Well, if you look at InfiniBand, we're just rolling out FDR as the latest. If you look at QDR InfiniBand, for example, in high-performance computing, or HPC, it's roughly 50%. If you look at in the enterprise and storage, it's growing in those areas, and FDR represents the next fastest speeds that's rolling out for highest throughput. So we expect this to be adopted over the next 12 months, very similar to how QDR was adopted when we went from DDR to QDR. And on the 40 gigabit Ethernet side, it's still early. 10 gigabit Ethernet is rolling out very quickly, and we think 40 gigabit Ethernet gives some advantages in throughput, efficiency, and latency benefits for a lot of applications that you might see in Web 2.0 or storage, high-performance computing, etc.
Is 100 gigabit Ethernet just talk, or are people actually starting to use it?
Well, it depends on where you are in the network. In the data center, it's still really early. I mean, 40 gigabit Ethernet will roll out, and I think that'll roll out over the next 12 to 18 months in the data center. In the WAN, you see 100 gigabit Ethernet today being deployed. What needs to happen for the data center, though, is it needs to get a lot higher density and a lot lower cost to be able to connect those servers together. So those are things that we're working on now as we look at the next generation after our FDR technology. There's a technology that we call EDR, which is 100 gigabits per second, and aligns well towards 100 gigabit Ethernet. So you can anticipate we'll have similar type products that do both 100 gigabit Ethernet and 100 gigabit InfiniBand as we move forward.
Certainly, I imagine the growth of cloud computing is one of the things driving the innovation on your side.
Well, certainly cloud computing, high-performance computing, database applications, big data, for example, those drive throughput requirements, they drive latency requirements, they drive efficiency of the server elements, and those are the things that are driving the requirements for higher bandwidth and higher throughput.
Does the growth of the wireless market have an impact on what you're doing?
From a remote standpoint, it may have some impact in that there's tons of users delivering data, accessing databases and data centers, and those data centers that we connect need to deliver this technology. So I would anticipate that, as there's more users, as there's more data entering the internet, all of those things help feed the requirements for large data centers and scaled out.
What's the difference in terms of use case? What's the difference between InfiniBand and Ethernet?
From a use case standpoint, on a fundamental basis, generally InfiniBand gives much higher throughput and lower latency. We're delivering some of those same attributes to Ethernet now, but the typical aspect is it's generally 2 years ahead at a higher throughput, lower power, lower latency, and delivers the absolute best efficiency to the server elements. And what that translates to is I need less servers to do the same job. And I'm delivering it with the interconnect.
So then why use Ethernet?
Well, it's very prevalent, and it has been for 20 plus years, right, in the market. So this isn't a case where, you know, any more than a optical disk drive is going to wipe out magnetic disk drives back in the day, right? What happens is each one carves out its capabilities, and I think both will proliferate and gain share in the markets that they are best at. And in the data center, InfiniBand delivers incredible efficiency, and it's growing, and people are recognizing that.
Excellent. John, as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining me again.
Thank you.